What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, what is going on? We are live. It is a Monday night. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 203 of the Throwdown, where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a California-based wrestler, definitely a fast-rising name on the West Coast indie scene and starting to gain traction in other regions as well. My friends, I give you the undeniable G4. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing very good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Like I said before we went on the air, I've been looking forward to this one. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. And that contains all or at least most of G4's social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, take the time and go to each of our platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And any questions or comments you guys have as we go through this, throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go ahead and get started with really the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
So far, I've been training since 2023, but
Okay.
I've been wrestling matches since officially May of 2025.
Okay. And who actually trained you or is training you?
So I originally started out at a school in San Diego, but right now, currently, the majority of my training has been through Primal Pro Wrestling, based in San Diego.
Very good. So, in the early stages of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around?
So coming into wrestling, I came like a year removed off of playing football. And I think the thing that was most challenging to me was you really have to like unlearn a lot of stuff football teaches you. Like in football, you're not supposed to be knocked to the ground, but then you start training in wrestling to get knocked to the ground a bunch of
Right.
times. So there's that hesitancy to like fall and let yourself do that. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5". I was like 320 when I was playing football. So like I'm not used to like doing flips and doing such agile type of stuff that you'll learn typically in a wrestling school. So that was one of the most challenging things early on in.
Gotcha. So, aside from football, did you come to wrestling, besides the football, with any other athletic or martial arts type of background?
Of course, I played basketball before. I've done some track and field. I've done volleyball. As far as fighting goes, like I've had tried boxing like once, like a couple classes, but it didn't really stick. So I really didn't have any like former like fighting experience besides like maybe like a little bit of like high school wrestling, like everybody does sometimes. But this was like a major like paradigm shift from what I'm like used to.
Gotcha. So, as far as your football background, what positions did you play?
When I was a little dude, I was playing receiver, but I didn't like to get hit. So then I switched to corner, and I wasn't like I'm tall, so I wasn't like super fast as all the rest of the receivers. So I started gaining weight, and then I played defensive end, and that was a position where I could tackle, I could hit, I could make more explosive plays that kind of fit myself.
Gotcha. So looking over at the Instagram chat, We've got a few people pulling in. We've got the Ugly Dojo. We've got a future guest that's going to be coming up in the next week or so, Elia Lopez, and we've got Mike Beltmaker, and he likes your hairstyle.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Fine.
So, I'm presuming, because this has been the typical answer with most of the people that have come on the show, I'm presuming you've been at least a fan of professional wrestling for the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
Oh, yes, 100%.
What would you say is your earliest wrestling-related memory?
There's like a couple. I remember back in New Jersey, my older brother would have a lot of like the wrestling figures. And I remember he used to have this really cool Undertaker wrestling figure that I thought was really cool. And then my cousins, I went to their house and they're like, they saw my wrestling toy and they're like, oh, you want to see some of his matches? And I didn't know who he was. I just knew about the toy. And so
Gotcha.
he turned on like a highlight reel that he had. Like he recorded on the VCR. And I was just like, this is so cool. I love this. This is so awesome. And kind of like from that day on, I was kind of like always into it a little bit with like, I'd see guys like Kurt Angle. I think one guy that really made me like it a lot, which is a random pull, but I was really into Hurricane as a kid. Like I thought a superhero that wrestled was like such a cool thing to me. And I was like a little obsessed for a while and I wanted to be just like him. But, it was stuff like that that got me like, got it rolling, got me watching it.
Gotcha. So, obviously the physical side of this is all extremely important. So tell us a bit about your gym routine, and in your mind, what would you say are the most crucial exercise or group of exercises for you to keep in ring shape?
Well, first things first, got to have a good cardio routine because wrestling is very stop start. It's very all gas, no breaks. You got to be able to keep up with
Mm-hmm.
the biggest guys to the smaller guys with a lot of cardio. 10 minutes in, I can't look like I'm blown. I can't look like I'm out of breath. I can't be tired. Because if I get tired, then maybe I don't do my moves as safely and secure, and that could result in somebody else getting hurt or myself. So first things first, always have some good cardio. I do a lot of upper body and a lot of like squats and stuff like that because like I'm a big guy, so a lot of my moves require me to pick people up and place them down. So I gotta have like that explosiveness and the strength to do so. So, we got benching, you got your push-ups, your pull-ups, your sit-ups to get that good core and those good leg muscles working.
Gotcha. Yeah, speaking of picking people up, when I was putting together the promo reel for this, I had to include that little shot of you picking Ennis up, walking him over, setting him on the turnbuckle, and slapping him. That was the moment. Love that. Love it.
Mhm.
So away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Well, I have a lot of little stuff. Right now, like I'm currently learning how to play my guitar. I've had it for like 4 years, and I have still learned very little. Uh, I like to listen to music, like a lot of types of music. It really helps me center
Mm-hmm.
myself. Uh, I like to pick up like I have random bursts of like creativity where like maybe I might want to do some puzzles, or maybe I might want to draw, or maybe I might want to like put together Legos or stuff like that. Like I'm very like always trying to adapt or trying to open my mind and like go to something different. Like, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades when it comes to my interests, so it's hard for me to like pinpoint like one certain thing.
Gotcha. Well, it's funny you mentioned guitar playing. When I got started with live streaming back, it was January of 2024. The first 6 months that I was doing it, I was actually doing this type of show, but talking with unsigned music bands.
Mm,
I'm a hobbyist musician myself. I play guitar, and my primary instrument is actually bass guitar.
mm.
But I've been playing guitar in one form or another, off and on, for the majority of my life. And man, it's you know, it's a great hobby. And so yeah, man, I encourage you to, definitely delve into the guitar and take it as far as you can, man, because
Mhm.
it's something you can do your entire life.
Mm.
And we're and actually a previous guest, Jason Drew, made the comment, it's never too late to learn guitar or music. Music is ageless. So
Ooh, I like that.
so we're obviously mostly a wrestling related show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture. So, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, by any chance, are you watching or listening to anything really cool right now that you'd like to shout out?
As far as like TV or music,
TV or music, any of it.
right now in TV, I think the most recent thing that I've been watching is Cobra Kai on Netflix. I love a good like Netflix original. I've always loved Karate Kid, so that show I love it a lot.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
as far as music, right now I'm listening to the new J Cole album that I released. That's my favorite rapper of like 15 years or so. Like, so that's what's currently on my Spotify a lot. Cobra Kai's on my TV. I don't usually watch a good amount of TV, but whenever I do, I'm trying to finish like a Netflix original. Like I just finished watching Stranger Things not too long ago. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite shows at the moment. But yeah, Cobra Kai, it's really great. I love it. I love fighting, and there's a lot of it going on in that show, so it's right up my alley.
Oh, yeah. Um, and again, looking over at the Instagram chat, I may be butchering the name here. Vimbai Moyo says guitar is so fun, and he recommends Introducing Me by Nick Jonas as a good starting point. So,
I've heard that song before. I definitely would like to learn it. I like the guitar in that. I definitely might want to learn it.
absolutely. So, another outside of wrestling question, and that is outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Outside of wrestling, what do you mean?
What person inspires you the most and why?
Uh, I'd have to say one of my biggest inspirations outside of the wrestling world would have to be my mom. I wouldn't be here without her. Uh, she adopted me when I was 7 years old. Uh, took me out of a bad situation, and no matter what's happened, she's always kind of like believed in all my dreams. When I tried acting, when I did football, when I did wrestling, she was at my first match. I wouldn't be here without her. She's such a strong woman, and a lot of what I have in my life and my determination and my perseverance, I've got from emulating her. She's my role model and my biggest hero, so that's definitely my biggest point of inspiration for my whole career. I do it all for her.
Awesome, awesome. So you're definitely a mama's boy, and there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. The biggest mama's boy there is, for sure.
Awesome, awesome. So, have you pretty much been in the San Diego area the majority of your life? Would you consider that kind of your hometown, or?
Well, I'm from New Jersey. So I
Okay,
spent a good amount of my life there. I moved out to California around end of 2014, and I've
okay,
been in San Diego since then. So kind of like split. I mean, a lot of my teenage adult life has been in the West Coast, but the earlier stages was in the East Coast.
gotcha, gotcha. So we'll kind of split this question then. What was your favorite thing about New Jersey, And what is your favorite thing about San Diego?
Well, one of my favorite things about New Jersey, I love pizza. I know it's like super cliche to say the East Coast has best pizza. I mean, it does, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, I'm a rock with the spot that I'm born. I have family there. A lot of my early memories are there. Uh, but as far as the West Coast, there is so much stuff I love about it. The weather, the beaches. They also have really good food. And in California, you're hours away from like Disneyland and Universal Studios and Six Flags. Like there's something to do out here all the time. And I do prefer it sometimes to the East Coast because there's not much to do out there in Jersey, but out here in San Diego, like you can do something every weekend. It's not that far. It's like an hour at least.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, they say that the best wrestling persona is usually pretty much yourself turned up to 1,000. So, kind of tell us about in ring G4 and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
So that is something that I try to strive for is having my wrestling persona be me amped up. But at first it was kind of hard because like I'm genuinely a more gentle, like soft, kind-hearted guy. Like I'm not really super aggressive. So when I started the G4 persona, and I'm like a football player, and I'm like a real athlete, and I'm tough and I'm hard hitting. Like that's something I had to like curate because like I'm genuinely like a gentle giant. I'm not really an aggressive guy. So like there's that like difference in character, but I am an athlete, so that is something that is true. And I guess if I'm being myself and being more like confident in it, that would be my G4 character. And then I have another persona where I tag with one of my friends in San Diego, and that one is kind of more like silly and a little bit more like on the whimsical side. And that's also another side of me because like I like to have fun. I like to be silly at times, and that persona is kind of like my sillier side amped up a lot and brought into the wrestling world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's one of the things I like the most about wrestling is like you get to be that person that you want to be, and it does flow easier when you're being more true to yourself and who you are, and you're just like being yourself, but amped up to that level.
Absolutely. Completely agree. So, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? Tell us about the first one.
So my first official wrestling match was in May, and I still remember when my coach had given me that okay to do it and let me know that was going to happen. I was so nervous. I mean, before that happened, I had like one or two like unofficial matches that wasn't in front of a crowd, and that was a little bit like nervous, but it was with one of my best friends, Antonio Rivers, so it was like a little easier. But then this match was like this was in front of a real wrestling crowd. My family were going to be there, my friends were going to be there, and I had thought like, oh, I got this. I played football before, I've acted before, I've done plays before. Like I'm used to being in front of a crowd, so I thought I was pretty confident until my music hit and I'm behind the curtain, and then I'm like, oof, it's real now. And I was like heart beating a million beats per minute, and I go out
Oh,
there
yeah.
and I do my little tough guy thing that I do, and I'm walking out. I'm trying to keep like the stoic, like solid, confident face. I remember turning the corner, and I didn't know my family was in the front row, and you can probably see it on camera somewhere. But like, I immediately just start smiling when I see it. Like, I immediately break character, and I start smiling because I see my mom there, my sister, my brother, my nephews, my nieces, my cousins. I'm just me and all my friends are in one part, and I just start smiling immediately, and I gotta like snap back into character. But it was it was fun. I was very nervous, and it was hard not to laugh because my older sister is in the back, and I can hear her while I'm waiting to get tagged in. Like kick his butt, George. I mean, G4, kick his butt, kick his butt, kick his butt. And I'm trying not to look. I'm sitting here not even looking over because I will start laughing. I can just,
Yeah.
and she's like, I know you hear me. I know you can hear me. I'm like, I'm trying not to look. I'm just like, I'm trying not to laugh. And I had fun. I was nervous as you would be. And after the match, I was happy. All my people were there to support me. Of course, first time you could have always done better, and there's always that want to do better. But as far as the first time goes, like it was just exciting to see the culmination of all my years of training be fulfilled and seen in that moment, and it was a pretty big moment for me because I'd always wanted to do this as a kid, and I was living that dream.
Gotcha. So, we've heard about the first one. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of so far.
Okay, so I believe my favorite match was last year in the Bay Area at Fighting Spirit Pro Wrestling, where I got to wrestle one of my best friends and one of my mentors in wrestling, Antonio Rivers of the Pump Line. And that was a big moment to me because when I started pro wrestling, my first show when I was training and I went to help out with, I asked all the wrestlers on the card, I asked them for advice. And this guy Antonio took the time, and he was only 18 at the time, and I was way older than him, but he took the time to give me advice and sit down with me and talk to me and give me that guidance and open up those lines of communication. And all through my career, he's always been there for me. And I remember this was 2023. I had messaged him on Instagram because he was already wrestling at the time, and I was like, "Hey, maybe one day you'll have a match with me." And he's like, "Hey, you keep training, and that will happen." And from that day, he's been such a light of inspiration for me. And I remember coming to him before I debuted, and I asked him "Hey, Antonio, I need to get there. Can you help me?" And he every day for 3 or 4 months would come to practice with me, help train me, go to the gym with me, and give me those instructions. He was very pivotal in my debut, and I'll always be grateful for that. And that day where I got to wrestle my mentor in a lot of ways, one on one at a promotion and have a match with him was such a big deal for me because he has been there from the very beginning, and for that to be a match I had with him meant the world to me.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And full circle moments like that are always special anyway. And again, looking over at the Instagram chat, Vimbai Moyo wants to hear about your tag team.
So I have a tag team partner in San Diego. Uh, his name is Two Thang. He's one of my very good friends, and it's funny. It really started as a throwaway tag team for a birthday party show. And the coach saw it and was like, "Hey, I kind of like you guys together because it's an odd pairing because I'm this really big guy and he's this shorter guy who's more fast and more agile or whatever." So the look was okay, very oddball, but we've developed this team into something that's coherent, and we've been doing this for months now. And I love the guy. Shout out to Tang, my boy for real. And it's just really fun. It's fun tagging with him. It's fun taking something that you could be unsure about and putting in that work and that dedication and making it to its own thing. And to see that happen and be able to be a part of that is something that I've been internally grateful for.
Absolutely. So, it sounds like you've done at least a little bit of both, but do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface, or is it pretty much whatever the promotion or the storyline calls for?
So, as a kid, I always did the bad guys more. I was into the Randy Ortons and the Edge and Triple H. So when I started wrestling and I've been able to be heel, it is a little bit, in my opinion, more convenient because you don't have to worry too much about if the fans like you because you want them to hate you. So you kind of get
Right.
to be a little bit more conceited, be a jerk, go for the high five, move your hand out the way of the kids, call the fans a loser or something. Like, it's easier getting them to hate you because, like, if you make a mistake, hey, I'm a bad guy, stuff happens. But on the other end, being a baby face is something I enjoy a lot because the kid in me would always see, like, the Shawn Michaels or the John Cena's and see the fans, how much they love them. And when you're a babyface and you get that reaction from the crowd, like there's no other feeling like it. Like one of the moments that meant a lot to me was after this one match I worked, these two kids walked up to me and they were like a little bit nervous or whatever. And they're like, "Excuse me, sir, can you sign my shirt?" And I was like, "Of course." And they're like, "I told you he'd come out if he waited." And they're like, "Oh, I loved your match. You're so cool." And they signed their shirt and they were so happy about that. And like that kind of thing you don't get as a heel. And for somebody like me who loves wrestling, it's those little moments that make being a babyface so much worth it because you can make an impact on somebody's life and you can like make somebody have a bigger love for wrestling.
Absolutely. And continuing to look at the Instagram chat, Elia Lopez, the guy that's going to be coming on the show next week, has posed a question that we're going to actually be getting to in a little while. I just wanted to basically let him know I do see your question, and it's going to work pretty well in just a little while as we move further into our discussion here. But so do you you've been doing this not terribly long, but long enough that you've probably developed at least some of these. And what would you say is your biggest wrestling related pet peeve? You're smiling.
This is this is a little pet peeve I have,
Okay.
and it's a little silly, but I just do not like it when the person you're wrestling does not smell good. Because imagine, if you will, they have a little bit of VO, and now you're in a headlock from that person for an extended amount of time. Like, I'm just like, me personally, before I wrestle, I shower, I put my lotion on, I put on deodorant, I put on a little bit of like body spray so that I smell pleasing if I'm gonna have somebody in a headlock, or you picking them up. So when somebody like smells distasteful, I'm just kind of like, you knew you had to wrestle today. Like, we couldn't have did a little 1-2 on it, like that's just I think my main pet peeve.
Gotcha. You know, I've never done professional wrestling training, but several years ago, for a number of years, I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there was always the one guy in the dojo that wouldn't wash his gi, and
Oh, goodness.
grappling with somebody with a foul gi is just the worst thing in the world, man. So I completely get where you're coming from with that.
Like, hey, maybe the foul stench is a part of their offense. Maybe it's a new move we're not aware
Maybe,
of.
maybe. It's sort of like a variation on Rikishi's stink face.
Yes, but like stink everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
This is something I've talked with my friends about a lot. Because in my opinion, both are so important. But there are some
Yep.
wrestlers who they got the motion on the mic, but not so much in the ring. And then there are some who have it in the ring and not so much on the mic. And
Yeah.
my coaches one of my coaches always says, like, you can have a really great character, but then the bell has to ring at some point. And I always like to think that true wrestling skill will speak for itself. And that can sometimes tell the story too. But having a good promo as well is also very important. So that's a very hard question to ask because, like, if it were up to me, I'd prefer to have both, you know?
You know that question, I've done that question in pretty much every episode, and it's been about a 50-50 split. And everybody has their own particular reasons for choosing one or the other. So yeah, that has actually become one of my favorite questions. I just find it interesting hearing everybody's personal opinion on that, and it's just been really kind of a fun one.
It's a
But
tough question.
it is, and and sort of riffing on it a little further, it's been fun for me as a fan watching people that are really good in one aspect or the other put in the work to actually become really good in the other aspect. Like, for instance, when he really got his major start in AEW, MJF was unreal on the mic, and he was a decent worker. But over the past few years, he has really put in the work, and I would say his in ring is as good as what he does on the mic now. And and on the other extreme, Will Ospreay was absolutely just unreal in the ring, but when he was over in Japan, he didn't really have that much opportunity to talk. And and that run that he had in AEW, man, his mic work was amazing as well. So it just always does my heart good to watch people put in the work and evolve and fill in holes in their game and really become a well-rounded all-around talent. Because really, if you're great in both aspects, you can almost write your own ticket.
Exactly.
So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Is there a match that just really speaks to you, that you find yourself kind of circling back to, and it's like comfort food? You just find yourself going back to it, and it just means a lot.
There's two matches that I have. My first match that I love is Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. Truly terrific match. Great story being told through the wrestling. I love Kurt Angle, one of my favorite wrestlers, and he won that match. So it was a joy to see. Two technical wrestlers such as that going back and forth is such a great story. Such a great example of match psychology and things like that. And I love to watch a lot and study it. My other match would have to be Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. For me, it's big for a lot of reasons. I've always loved Kofi Kingston. He's one of the reasons why I wanted to be a wrestler as a kid. To see somebody like myself be out there and be in a main event was something that was so inspirational. And his whole story leading up to that, where he was the underdog and he had to overcome insurmountable odds to get there. And then doing it all and surprising the world by beating somebody like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania was such an inspirational story. And it really let me know that, like, you can do anything you put your mind to. And that's kind of like a driving force for me in my my wrestling. Like, I'm undeniable because, like, if you put in that work and you prove yourself, then nobody can deny your greatness. And that's, stuff like that's what really inspires me. And if I ever feel down, I want to go back to that match and that whole art to get that inspiration and to show myself that I can do it if I put my mind to it.
Absolutely. So, And this is one of these questions that the answer can really almost change day to day and week to week. But and this is strictly your opinion.
Mhm.
At this moment, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who is the best man and who is the best woman?
Hmm. This is tough.
Yeah.
Well, for women wrestlers, a wrestler who I think is always enjoyable to me every single time I watch them perform, I'd have to say Io Sky is so great. I love everything she does. Her energy, her moves, her character work. Uh, she is truly so amazing to me. And every time I watch her matches, I'm just so enthralled by it. Uh, and it's funny, she's not one of my favorite women wrestlers, but I believe that she definitely is one of the best right now. Like, definitely somebody to watch every single time. Big fan of Io Sky. And as far as men wrestlers, this is a question that always is changing for me, like from all time and who's doing it right now. Uh, I would say, and this maybe I would say a wrestler that I think has always is doing it for me right now, as of recently, has got to be Roman Reigns. Uh, he has such a presence.
Yep.
He's very skilled and he gets it. Like his through his promos, through his character work, through his selling, through his in betweens. When he goes out there from entrance to last bell, he is himself. He is that character, and he exudes it. And it's something that I aspire to be like because he has such a good handle on that. And a lot of guys are really skilled and maybe flashier than him, and maybe they do more crazier stuff than him, but he's really good at making the little things matter through the facial expressions that he does, through his
Oh yeah.
movement, through the way he's firing up. Like he's so good at every part of it that like he doesn't need to do the crazy flips. Him doing like a simple boot will mean more than that and get the crowds more into it. And I think at the moment right now, he's one of the people that I believe is doing it the best.
Absolutely. So so do you have, and this can be past or present, who would be a dream opponent? Who would G4 love to have the opportunity to share a ring with?
Like all time.
Yeah, I mean, it can be present day, it can be past. Who would be somebody that you would love to have the opportunity to get in a ring with?
I've always wanted. I mean, I don't know if this is even possible, but if I could all time choose somebody, I'd have a match with Randy Orton. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, and I've always wanted to share a ring with him. If that were possible, I'd jump at it. But some things aren't. But he's somebody I'd love to wrestle with, or learn from, or just be able to get some knowledge from him.
Oh yeah, I mean, just to have the opportunity to eat an RKO. I
Exactly. Oh
mean,
my god. I'd want to take an RKO from Randy Orton so bad. I would. That would be all I need. Is be able to take an RKO from him.
absolutely. So, using, I guess, a literary term here, you know, do you have a person that you have wrestled that when you are working that person, you're going to have an absolute banger with? In literary terms, they call it a foil. Basically, somebody who you've got incredible chemistry with in the ring, and if you're working that person, magic's gonna happen. Do you have such a person?
Uh, Back to my favorite match, I would have to throw it back to Antonio Rivers. as one of my best friends, people who's trained me on a lot of the moves that I do, I know that I'm 100% comfortable with him. And if I wrestle him, I most likely am going to have that good match because he is so talented and so good at like leading and helping out in the match that could turn my brain off, and I'd have to have a good match. He's very skilled. He's a very good leader. Very has a very good mind for wrestling, and a lot of what I know is based off him. So it's like he knows what he taught me, and I know what he taught me as well. So it'd be easy to have that good match with him.
Gotcha. So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
So a move that I love to do, maybe it's a little cliche, is my finish that I do is the choke slam. Because I think that's a move that as a kid I would do to my nephews and stuff like that. So when I got to learn it officially wrestling, it was easy for me because I'd already done it. And I just love picking somebody like 7 feet in the air and then putting them down. I love doing that move. The crowd loves it. It just makes sense. It's a move that I tried to master and perfect as much as I can, and I love doing it. And the move that I hate to take the most, and it's crazy as a big guy, I hate taking chops so much. I hate taking chops. Like I can give them, and I usually have to because I'm a big guy, got a big old hand. But when it's my turn, oh, I hate taking chops. Like having to act like it doesn't hurt as much as it does kill me because it does hurt. So I'm just like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of these guys, you look at their chest at the end of a match and it looks like raw hamburger. I mean, it's I mean, some of these chops, like Gunther, for instance,
oh my gosh,
his chops just look like you would just want to cry. I mean,
exactly, bro. Like taking a chop from Gunther would probably take a year off my life. Like I'd do it if I had to, but like if he was like, hey, maybe no chops today, I'd be like, for sure thing, buddy.
So, out of curiosity, of the people that you have been chopped by, who has given you the worst chop?
Ooh, okay. I think two of my worst chops gotta be guys from my school. One, my head coach, J2 Mattioli. Uh, Super strong chop. And at the time where I got chopped by him, I didn't think he chopped that hard. I thought he just made really good sound, and he gave me one, and it took the air right out of my lungs. And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, we're good, bro, we're good." And then, my friend Yassine Khan, he wrestled at my school as well. He's a very strong guy, and I had managed for 2 years to avoid getting chopped by him, and I always was able to get out of the way. Then we wrestled at this one show for his title, and he was like, "You escaped me for 2 years. I'm chopping this match," and I had to take several from him, and they were just as bad as I thought they would be. And it was the beginning of the match, so I had to act like, "Yeah, I'm tough still," but I was in my head just like a tear coming down my eyes, like absolute gnarly chop. You shout out to Yassine Khan, that's my boy. But yeah, I don't want no more chops from him.
Gotcha. So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure this applies to one degree or another. So I'll ask you, what hurts right now?
I am blessed enough to not be plagued with any injuries, but I think it's always the knees, always the knees that as a
Yeah.
tall guy, that always give me a little bit of problems if I don't stretch out enough or do enough calisthenics. It usually is a little bit of minor knee pain, but right now I feel fine. But some days it's a little funny and it feels a little bit off. But if I usually stretch or use some Tiger Balm, it usually leaves. But I'm very blessed to have not obtained any long-term injuries as of this moment.
Awesome, awesome. So, that's really a perfect segue into the next question, and that is, what is the worst bump you have taken?
Oof. Okay. I think the worst bump I ever took was, shout out to Yassine Khan once more. I took a Tahana bomb off the top rope when I was going for a Vader bomb, and I came down faster than expected, and I didn't tuck my neck enough time, and I hit my head. And right after that was his finishing sequence, which is a pretty strong lariat. So I had to I'm woozy, and I had to get to the spot to take the move. And I was just like, where am I? I was like, is the match over? Ring the bell, please. But that bump was just gnarly. I was just like, and I was like, where am I?
Do you think you were concussed?
Oh no, I don't think so. At least I hope not. I mean, I felt fine like a couple minutes after, but it definitely was like, oh, ah, like I was definitely like
Yeah.
not a huge fan because I'm a big guy. I don't usually bump very high, very
Right.
often. So to be bumped from that high into the air, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
Uh, Social media is such an important part now, whether we like it or not. Getting your outreach is your brand. Like your brand, you are a brand as soon as you start wrestling. So if social media can
Yep.
get you out there and get looks at from different promotions and different companies, different people, you owe it to yourself to do that. Like a lot of wrestlers who have, made it to the big leagues or got tryouts or looks, they have very big social media platforms, and that's not for no reason. Like you want to have a good fan base, you want to be able to sell your merch, you want to be able to have people that support you and will show up to your shows. And word of mouth isn't enough anymore. You have to like have platforms where you can post your stuff, post links to your merch, post your match clips, your match highlights, post your flyers, post your promotion so that you can amass more bigger fan base because then you have a bigger audience to perform for.
Gotcha. So, now I'm actually going to bring in Elia Lopez's question that he posted a few minutes ago, and that is, what companies ultimately would you potentially like to be in, and what's your main goal in wrestling?
Well, my main goal, as always, would be to make it to the big leagues to get signed. Uh, as far as what company, I'm not particularly biased as long as I'm able to wrestle on TV and wrestle the big names like anybody else. I'd go wherever I'm allowed. It'd be an honor to work in any of the companies. I don't believe in one particular brand superiority. They all have their own things. They all have their own fan base. They all have their own merit. If I was grateful and blessed enough to be able to wrestle on one of those platforms, I'd be grateful for the opportunity. So I can't say I have one main one. I watch all forms of wrestling, whether it be New Japan or WWE or AEW or Ring of Honor or RH. Like I'd love to wrestle anywhere that I can.
Gotcha. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would tell myself to start wrestling earlier and to lay off the junk food way earlier. I tell myself put down the hot Cheetos like 5 years ago.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, do you have any pre show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through that curtain?
So typically, I'll have like an energy drink or like a couple pieces of candy to have something sweet or whatever. To get the energy, I'll listen to my theme song, like my wrestling theme. over and
Mm-hmm.
over again to get myself to be in that zone. I'll go over my match in my head. I'll do my prayers. As always, and I'll just do my pre-match affirmations to get myself in that zone, to speak life into myself and pray that whatever happens in the match, that me and my opponent are both able to come out of that safe.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, just kind of a quick rundown. What all do you carry in your gear bag? And do you carry anything unique or unusual in your gear?
I have the essentials like wrist tape, my gear, my wrestling boots, some Tiger Balm. I have like shower gel, deodorant, lotion, a couple colognes, some body oil. I'll keep a snack in
You
there.
got to smell good. You got to
You
smell
gotta
good,
smell
like you
good.
were
You got it.
saying.
You gotta smell good. Gotta keep that motion. You gotta smell good. Uh, what's the most peculiar thing? I'm trying to think. So my gear bag is so cluttered. There'd be so much stuff. Uh, I've had this huge like container of trail mix that I've had probably for like 4 months now. That just does not leave my gear bag for some reason. 'Cause I bought it for a show, and it's like the community trail mix because I'll bring it, and another wrestler will be like, "Oh, can I have some of that?" And I'm like, "Okay, for sure." And I have not finished it yet. I'm convinced it's bottomless because I'm like, I've had this for so long and it has not left.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And so one of my previous guests, a wrestler and promoter based here in the state of Georgia, Cowboy James Hunter, posed this question, and that is, how many times a week do you train?
So that all changes depending on like availability, but if I could prefer, probably 3 to 4, and at least go to the gym at least 3 to 4 times to get your wrestling knowledge and to get your body at peak condition. In a perfect world, but I know people have like jobs and other responsibilities. But if I could, at least 3 times a week.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to the next guest?
This is something I
If
was
you
thinking about.
can't,
I know I
okay,
have one.
go ahead.
Uh,
Okay.
it's an interesting question, but I've seen it a bunch. Would you ever wrestle barefoot?
Oh, that's an interesting question, actually. How would you answer that?
I don't think I could. I just feel like my foot would get stepped on, and that would really take me out of the match. Like, or like, I don't know, like I stubbed my toe or something. Like, I don't see how like people like Matt Riddle used to wrestle like shoeless. Like, I feel like I step on something. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm too clumsy. I'd have done the confidence I could.
I don't know. My wife is still a relatively new wrestling fan, but early in her fandom, she watched Matt Riddle come out, and she could never remember his name, so she just calls him Flip Flop Boy.
Oh, that's great. I love that flip flop boy.
So, kind of a final question. During his retirement tour, John Cena, kept emphasizing that he wanted to leave wrestling better than he found it. So, what are you doing to when your time in professional wrestling is over? What are you doing to try to make professional wrestling better than when you found it?
I would say by going about wrestling in the way it's supposed to be, by being as true to yourself, by not taking shortcuts, by being unapologetically yourself and bringing that spirit of like being genuine back to wrestling. Because it's very easy to like lose your way and kind of like just fall by the wayside. But I believe if I stick to my guns and stick to my morals and my principles and stick to that old fashioned way of thinking, that I can do my part. Because I mean, ultimately, I'm just a drop in the bucket of all the wrestlers and personalities. But if I can go each match by being genuine and true to myself and being a good worker, then maybe I can make a small impact to whoever I wrestle with and continue that spirit. So on and so forth into my career.
Absolutely. So we're pretty much at the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Yes. One March 1st, I will be at Primal Pro Wrestling, wrestling with my tag team partner, Su Thang, in a tag team title match. Big shout out Primal. The Instagram is at Primal Pro Wrestling. I love all the guys there. Tune in. It's a great stream, a great program. And I believe in the month of March as well, I will be returning to CCP podcast. I will be returning to CCP at their show Good Vibrations. I will be there again.
Yes.
Shout out to CCP. Big fan of them as well. Had a lot of fun to the last one, and we're looking forward to continue having fun to this next one as well.
Absolutely. And as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, tomorrow night, Tuesday the 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 204. And our guest is a Georgia-based wrestling photographer and also now wrestler in training, Dalton Bell. So he's going to be joining us tomorrow night at 7. And then on Wednesday, the 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got a rescheduled episode 202. And our guest is a Central Florida-based wrestler out of the House of Champions in Orlando, Baracco. So, I mean, those are the next two, but we've got a bunch more scheduled. We are pretty much booked. Actually, we are starting to take bookings into April at this point, so we're about 30 to 45 days out on bookings. And man, this show has been so much fun. I mean, you know, I have this has really been a labor of love, and I've met some of the coolest people doing this. And you know, I'm proud to count you among that, man. This has been an absolute pleasure. So thank you for your time.
That. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, you know, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Smash
And
that like
until
button.
yeah, absolutely. And until tomorrow night at 7 p.m. with Dalton Bell, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing down.